50 fights, KJ. I'm sure one of them went a little aggressive before the fight.
I can't really remember. Too many hits to the head.
Fighters gather round. I'm Arthur Chivichin, your collector fighter, bringing fighters and collectibles together on Collector's Cafe.
I always wanted to fight Karo because I know I can knock him out. You're not gonna knock me out. Knockout artists haven't even touched me. How are you gonna knock me out?
Hello everyone, I'm Arthur Chivichin, your collector fighter, bringing fighters and collectibles together on Collector's Cafe. Today our guests are MMA competitors Karo, the Heat Parisyan, and K.J. Nunes. Karo, a former #1 contender in the UFC, WEC world champion under Zuffa, formerly trained with Ronda Rousey, and ranked top 5 in the welterweight division for 4 years. K.J. won the Elite XC World Lightweight title, defended it, and fought in over 50 pro fights. K.J. and Karo, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Where did the Heat come from?
In St. Louis, Missouri, I was actually fighting in a show, and after the fight, I won the fight, and the commentator asked me, hey, what's your nickname? Karo the what? And then everyone's like, hey, how about Hollywood Heat? Since I was from Hollywood, I was like, all right, Hollywood Heat. When I moved to North Hollywood, I couldn't write Karo, North Hollywood Heat Parisyan, so I just took the North Hollywood. I was became Karo, the Heat Parisyan.
One of your most known fights was against St. Pierre. Can you talk about that a little bit?
When I fought George, I didn't know what I was doing during the fight. I was on my back and I was trying to submit George. If I had tried to stand back up, it would have been maybe a little bit different fight because George didn't even stand up with me. I actually threw punches and kicks. He actually shot in on me and took me down. I never tried to stand back up. I put him in my guard, which was the wrong way to fight against George St. Pierre, which was a wrestler trying to ground and pound me.
A lot of people know that you had to cut 15 pounds for that fight in one day.
It was horrible. I didn't eat for an entire day. I had that, that plastic thing on, sweat thing. I have a thermal shirt over it. I have a judo gi, which is, by the way, 4 or 5 pounds on top. And I was training with that, doing judo throws. Basically, I cut about 14 to 15 pounds in a day and a half.
KJ, what was it like winning the world title?
It was fun, man. Winning the world title at that time, all the build-up. I started martial arts since I was 5 years old. So my dad was a fighter also. I don't think people really understand when you come from a family of martial arts. People really don't know you until you start hitting the main events. And at that time, my name probably not a lot of people knew me. And then that night, you win against a respectable opponent, a world title. That was my dream.
You have over 50 fights. Can you give us a secret of what gets you amped up before a fight?
I've been punched in the head so many times I can't remember. I mean, where can you go and punch someone in the face and make a living? That says something, right? You can actually go and do something that you like and make a paycheck and do that.
What was it like training with Ronda when she was coming up through the ranks?
Ronda Rousey trained with us at Highest Stand Academy. She could not handle getting scored on in judo. She would start to cry. I've yelled at her many times, suck your lip back in, get up back on the mat, Ronda, and she would suck her lip back in. I would make some stupid joke, she would laugh, and then she was on the mat again, and guys would not come train with us. We had a bad reputation of hurting our opponents and all these guys that want to train with us. Ronda, this little white girl, would come and train with animals like us. That's why today, she's this beautiful girl that's beating everybody's ass. Last fight, don't make it a big deal, so she got knocked out. Hey, everybody loses.
Let's talk collectible, guys. What did you guys bring us?
First UFC, back then, we didn't get checks for the best fight or the best submission or the best knockout of the night. They used to give us plaques. And our best tap out award of the night, I had like several of those at home.
KJ?
I brought the black belt, which I got in Kempo Karate as a kid. It kind of set the base, the base of my discipline.
Existence.
And, it just makes you who you are as a person. Check these up right here. Put these on. Feel this, right? So these are custom, right? It's changed, and now boxing is different, but I thought, man, imagine if you had to fight these, and now we fight ones, like these are smaller,
lighter,
but they're, ones from the 70s, so.
It's one of the coolest and the most rarest gloves I've ever seen in my life.
Now it's time to play a game called This for Stat. 2 fighters enter, and only one is the greatest. Muhammad Ali in his prime, or Floyd Mayweather Jr.?
I mean, come on. Ali.
Just
Ali.
Bruce Lee or Chuck Norris?
I'm sorry, Chuck, we actually know Chuck Norris, but Bruce Lee is Bruce Lee.
Bruce is like the first MMA guy, but Chuck Norris, he never died. I'll agree. I'll say Bruce Lee. Yeah.
Rocky Balboa or Rocky Marciano?
Marciano,
the real deal.
The Rock or Mark Wahlberg?
Gosh.
The Rock.
Next.
Next.
The Rock, but next question, please.
Nicki Minaj or Jail Martha Stewart?
Jill Martha Stewart.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Martha Stewart.
What's next for you guys?
I'm going to be fighting February 6th in MGM Vegas against one of his past opponents, Josh Berkman. The main event will be Kane versus We're Doomed, and I'll be on the card.
Carl, what's next for you?
They want me to fight 2 fights, get 2 solid wins, go back to the UFC and start throwing people on their head.
KJ, Karo, thank you again for stopping by and talking fighting with us.
Hey, thanks for having us. It was
a pleasure.
I'm Arthur Chivichin, your collector fighter, and that wraps it up for this edition of Collector's Cafe.